Welcome everyone. First of all, I would like to introduce our group. My name is Margareta. I'm from the Slovak University of Agriculture.
My name is Juraj. I'm a PhD student at Slovak University of Technology.
My name is Lukas and I'm from Slovak University of Technology.
My name is Agnieszka and I'm from Gdańsk of Academy of Fine Arts.
My name is Maciej Flut and I'm from Gdańsk Academy of Art in Gdańsk.
My name is Alexandra. I'm from Poland. I study architecture of culture spaces in Academy of Fine Arts in Gdańsk.
I'm Radka and I'm studying in Nitra landscape architecture.
And I am Elizabeth. I am from Zagreb, landscape architecture student. And we had another member from Zagreb who had to leave unfortunately, but he was also part of our group.
Alright, now I would like to introduce you our project, which we have named the City River. But first of all, it is important to mention the way we worked as a group, because I think we had some wonderful cooperation in this group. We worked through brainstorming and then further through drafting and hand drawing. So throughout this presentation you will see our hand-drawn designs which represent our ideas. Okay, alright. Yeah, so first of all, I guess it's important to introduce the scales in which we have worked. We have the XL scale, which represents just the general idea. Further down we have the master plan in the L scale. Then we have the M scale, which describes the structure of the area. And then the smallest scale, the S scale, then represents a point of interest that we have chosen.
Okay, so I would like to say our main idea. So the idea was based on connecting the natural, historical and cultural assets from this border region, merging them into creating a new living space of 21st century where all three countries are welcome. So in this present scheme is shown the Danube River, which is really restricted. And in the past it was a really different situation with the meandering arms of the Danube. And in our concept we want to in future include these parts, these arms. We would like to restore and add some green corridors. And in the past, here are shown the borders, which in the past are not so visible. In the present, there is a really a harsh line that separates 2 or 3 countries, and it's really visible, this transition. And in the future, we would like to merge them and make a subtle, softer transition between the borders.
Okay, so regarding the XL scale, we can move on. Yes, actually we worked with 2 concepts of development. We have this one which we called actually city islands, and it's because we thought that we should, first of all, we didn't want to expand Petržalka that much, so it's more like closing itself, but we want to expand another villages which follows actually the development axis to the Hungarian border, and each of them represents some kind of local center, and which are all connected by some line, while we have this connection with the Danube River and also with the Austrian side. Another concept was to create just some flow, flow of the river flow of the river, just follow the flow of the river, as you saw already on the schemes. But somehow keep the urban development flowing, but don't connect. So those are the 2 intakes to our XL and also L scale. And the output was we actually differentiated to the natural output and also to the urban development output. The natural, as it was already mentioned, is that we like the motif of the Danube and the former bands. So we actually are recreating this type of motif, natural actually, and we also like crossing with some biocorridors the wetlands area and also the Austrian area. Regarding the urban structure, we like the concept of the 15-minute cities, and actually we like the already proposed development of the infrastructure, which follows the extension of the tram to the south area of the Petržalka, also up to the Jarovce area, but also the train, which actually goes from the Petržalka, also from the city center itself, and can connect not only the 15-minute local centers, but also the Hungary and Austria side. Yes, regarding the L scale, we made some type of master plan, yes, and defined the urban structures, not only the natural, but also the urban structures, where we work with the idea of already shown the Excel proposition that we want like some sort of high density and slowly moving forward to the semi-dense areas, while also incorporating some of the existing rural villages, mostly in the Austrian part, but also some farm ones. Yeah. Regarding the greenery.
Yes, these two maps represent, so we have the greenery here, which I will talk more in just a moment. And here we have the transport. So as Lukáš mentioned, we have the highway.
I can actually very briefly say, I'm sorry. Yes, we didn't do any changes to the existing infrastructure, and as I mentioned, we are just using extending some actual proposals of the tram also, but also the train. So, but what we want to stress is the development of the new and also like revitalization of the existing bicycle routes, which we are like supporting, except for the public transport. And yes, and we actually build up some nice motif, which we will show you in S scale later on, so you can continue with the green.
All right, so can you? Oh, okay, yes, perfect. All right, when it comes to the green infrastructure, this is something that's very important to us as a group, where we try to focus on the existing greenery, such as the riparian forest and the fields in Austria or also in Slovakia. And our main goal was to connect these, merge them together, and form, as Elizabeth said, a new living space for the 21st century. So we have we would like to introduce agroforestry. We would like to create these buffer zones along the highway, which would shelter the inhabitants from the noise pollution, etc. on the highway. But they would also create channels for wildlife to travel through. We would like to introduce this parkland area here, which would stop the rapid growth of Petržalka, and also provide area for citizens to enjoy. And within the semi-urbanized area, we would like to create loads of green spaces such as parks and community gardens. And here is just a quick sketch of the cross-section of the vegetation. So we would start with the orchards, fields, and meadows of Austria, which we would move through the extensive fields, meadows, and agroforestry within Slovak territory. Then we would like to create this buffer zone with ecoducts for the wildlife, and as I mentioned, community gardens, parks, parkland with possibly orchards and meadows, and then we have the riparian forest, which we want to preserve, of course.
So as for the M scale, here you can see the rough scope on which we focused. So basically we're we are looking at the area all the way from the Rusovce village across the highway all the way to the Slovak-Austrian border. You can switch slides. So in the design process we had a look at several urban and landscape patterns present in the area. So we have the Austrian fields and the Austrian side, which are like really strictly ordered with a large variety of different crops. Then we have the Slovak fields, which are like larger monocultures. Here we propose to create some kind of meadow strips along the dirt roads. Then this will make the life of the endangered species in the area easier. And then we of course have the existing urban structure of the Rusovce village. And from all these inspirations we came up with some kind of new proposed urban fabric, which incorporates several ideas. The idea of the 15-minute city was already mentioned here. And we also took inspiration in the quadruple block concept by Frank Lloyd Wright. And maybe I would also mention that apart from creating this, which seems like a really organized grid, we are also adding these like natural corridors with high vegetation used for transportation. Actually, we'll see it in later slides. So here we can see some zoom in. So this is the concept by Frank Lloyd Wright, which we took inspiration in, and we are introducing two typologies. We have high-rise apartment buildings near the existing city center and the Rusovce train station. And then we have another typology of single-family houses arranged in this grid. And to like soften the transition between these two typologies, we are creating a strip of community gardens in between them. So on the next slide, these are like some just like impressions from the place. So this is a view from the green corridors you could have seen, and this is the view from the new community gardens towards the apartment buildings near the existing village.
Okay,
And
so
for the scan,
how does it work?
this laser.
Oh, okay. So now we have the S scale, and our idea was to make like connect these two countries, like Slovakia side and Austrian side. So we chosen places where our design will appear, and we decided to make some kind of mirroring it. And our inspiration was the river, the shape of the river, so it's like more organic shape, and what you can see on the map. Yeah. And here we have like the closer idea, what we like in one point, one of the places which you choose. And we decided to make a green bridge which provide the access for people and animals to get on the other side of the highway. And we decided to make the greenery area which would spread into the fields, so animals has their space to feel comfortable and not be distracted by people or the machine world, which is actually existing in this place. There we have place where the architecture structure is connected with this existing road. And you have the expression places where you can just see like what we want to get in by our project. So here is the first one on the bridge, Green Bridge, and here is the connecting road with this architecture structure. It's the point where we're starting, and we have this architecture structure here. It's in organic shape, and we have on the last point the ending is actually the point view, so you can have a closer or better view on the area where are you standing. It's not, sorry, we just messed up the slides. Can you make like
Which one?
no, like
No.
no, like two slides further. This is our designing process where we were finding, like, trying to describe how we imagine to look like. And we decided on the solid one, which is made from wood. And now you can get back. Yeah, and we have here some of visualizations, which shows how it will look in the fields. And yeah. So yeah, it's as you can see, it's wooden structure. It's more solid, which just go over, and you can just go on it and see the whole view of the fields and the whole area. And here we have some designing ideas of the sitting places, which would be made from wood and net, so you can sit on it, lay on it, or even lean against it. So yeah. And no. Yeah. This one, yeah. And here we have how it does look from in one point where we have existing road which is crossing by our structure. So we decided to split it and make one structure which would be like on the lever 0, and it will be just a path from the place where is the machine road to the crossing road, which is going through it, and then we have the place where we can just go onto the viewpoint, and it has like 2 meters high. And here we have the idea of making bike stands, so the bikers, the people who are riding bikes, yeah, they can just leave their stuff here and just walk along the path and just go without any problem to get on top of it and just have a rest. So,
Thank you for the City River team for presentation. So again, we have seen a completely